Okay, now we're going to do our example of calculation of measures of incidence density, prevalence, and cumulative incidence from the sample document that you'll find on Blackboard. Make sure that you go ahead and print out that Excel spreadsheet before watching this video. It should make it a little easier to follow. So the first thing that I like to do when I'm doing one of these types of problems is just line up what I'm trying to do. And I'm going to be following people over the course of a year, January through December. So I will just start with my column headings. And you'll notice you can just put in 1 month and then drag that over to copy it easily. And then sometimes you might need to adjust the width of those columns a little bit just to make everything fit. Alright, now let's start with the first set of people. And so on March 1st, we have 2 people who were diagnosed with lung cancer. What I like to do is highlight the time that they have disease in yellow. So the first 2 people, we've highlighted March through December as the time they had disease. Next, we have 3 people diagnosed with lung cancer on July 1st. Oops, sorry. Next, we actually have 5 people lost to follow-up on June 1st, sorry. So we've got those 5 people on June 1st. So I just like to put a little L in there. So there's no time that they had disease, but I just like to put an L in there so I can go back and look at it and see if they were lost to follow-up. On July 1st, we've got 3 more people, that's 8, 9, and 10, who were diagnosed with lung cancer on July 1st. So again, I'm just going to highlight the time they had disease, put it in yellow. And finally, we have 2 people who developed disease on September 1st. Again, highlight the time, put it in yellow. And finally, you can't forget about the rest of the people, because we had 100 people in this study, so persons number 13 through 100. Then we want to go back and calculate the person time that each person contributed. So persons number 1 and 2 developed disease on March 1st, so they contributed 2 person months of follow-up. So the time before they had disease that they were at risk is January and February, so that's 2 months of person time. Our next set of 5 were lost to follow-up on June 1st, so they were all contributing time at risk during January, February, March, April, and May, so that's 5 months for each of them. Our 3 individuals who developed disease on July 1st each contributed 6 person months of follow-up. And finally, for those 2 who developed disease on September 1st, they contributed 8 person months. Oops. Those last 2 contributed 8 person months of follow-up. So if anyone actually came into the study with disease, remember they would have contributed 0 person months of follow-up, and they would not be at risk at the beginning of the study for our cumulative incidence calculations. So finally, we want to calculate the person time of follow-up for persons number 13 through 100. They all contributed 12 person months of follow-up. What I like to do to make it easy is just subtract our 12 unique individuals from the 100 people in the study and multiply that by 12 to get 1056. And finally, we want to total up the person amount of follow-up, and you can just let Excel do that by doing a quick sum of everybody to get you 1,119. So let's do incidence density first. Incidence density is the number of new cases divided by the total person time of follow-up. So that is 7 new cases, 2 on March 1st, 3 on July 1st, and 2 more on September 1st for a total of 7. And we know from our calculation we have 1,119 person months of follow-up. We can let Excel do that calculation for us. And we can actually go ahead and multiply that out times 100,000 just to make it easy for us. So that looks like about 626 per 100,000 person months of follow-up. Remember, you always want to write your sentence. So the incidence density of lung cancer in 2000 is 626 per 100,000 person months of follow-up. So for prevalence on August 1, we want to go in and draw a line on August 1. So if you go under Insert and Shapes, we can just choose a line. Draw a nice little line right there on August 1. Try to get it straight. And that makes it easy to see who we're talking about on August 1. So on August 1, we've got these 2 plus these 3 who have disease, and we've lost 5 people to follow up. So we have 5 people with disease and 5 people in our population that we've lost to follow up. So let's look at that calculation. Prevalence equals the number of existing cases at a point in time divided by the total population at the same point in time. So on August 1st, we've got 5 existing cases that we just counted, and we lost 5 people to follow up by that day. So we had 100 originally, but we lost 5. So that's 5 out of 95 now. Let Excel do that for us. So that looks like, we had a little error there, 5 out of 95, looks like 5.26%. So the prevalence of lung cancer on August 1st is 5.26%. Remember, you always want to write your sentences. And finally, the cumulative incidence is just the number of new cases divided by the total population at risk at the beginning of the study. We already said we had 7 new cases, and everyone was at risk at the beginning of this study because we didn't have anyone coming in with the disease or anyone unable to get the disease, so we just got our 100. So the cumulative incidence of lung cancer during 2000 is just 7%. 7 divided by 100 is just 7%.